Move my sticky notes. So I remember to go live. Move my sticky notes.
No, sounds like we're live.
Yes. Okay. So mute myself over here so I don't hear myself. All right. Awesome. Hello, everyone. Okay, we are going to start off with roll call. Me. There we go. Okay. Starting off in Bayless, Maria Martinez. I see you.
Couldn't unmute. Sorry. Yes, Bayless is
You're
here.
good. Christina Blankenship, Ferguson Flores sent me. I'm present. Kirkwood, Dwayne, I see you.
It's me.
Ellen Reed,
Here.
see you down in the corner. Maplewood, Richmond Heights, Kim Gifford. Lauren Todd. New owner. Did I say it right that time? Yes. Tamika Jones. Okay, Normandy, Deanna Davis. Parkway, Lindsay Woods. Not seeing. Ashley Jamison. Kamisha Carter in Pattonville. I think she's excused this evening. Rockwood, Rebecca is excused, I remember.
It is, but I am the voting member for the district.
Okay, you're here. Casey Mills. Holly Tinker. And then Webster Groves, Maureen O'Neill. I saw her at the bottom. All right, that's everyone. One moment, see if we got quorum.
You do have a member who hasn't been here in a long time, Andrew Harris from Hazelwood.
Andrew Harris, where have you been?
Well, last I heard, the meetings were on Wednesday nights, and I had something else. So then I think it's you that contacted me and said, "Hey, are you still doing this?" And then the meetings were on Tuesday, so I'm back.
Okay.
Okay,
So
We're
glad to have you
excited
back.
to have you.
thanks.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, where's he been? He's been in Hazelwood. I thought that
Yeah,
was
You made me lose count. Okay, 1 second. 1, 2, 5. We are good. We met quorum.
Excellent.
Okay. And then
I need to make a motion to approve last meeting's minutes, but I do believe we needed to make an adjustment to that. Is that correct, Denise?
yes, to not to the was not to the minutes. I think it was the agenda, wasn't it? We had to correct the name.
Yes, we had to correct the name for the Special Education Foundation because it's a special education fund. So that's been corrected. And then the presentation that was in the tentative agenda that was listed was actually changed. So we have that updated as well in the final minutes.
Yes. So the minutes were updated and provided to the body on online. So we're good there. So we just need a motion to accept the minutes as presented.
I will make that motion.
Where did my stuff go? I don't know. Okay. All right. You're making the motion. Anyone or
I'll
motion?
second, Maureen.
Maureen the second. Thank you. Okay. All those in favor, can I get aye?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? I'm looking at you, Dwayne. Okay.
Why would I oppose
Motion-
approving minutes? I just don't like meetings to end. I'm good with approving minutes.
Okay, motion carried. Okay. Can I get a motion to approve tonight's agenda?
I'll make that motion. I love agendas.
Motion to approve tonight's agenda from Dwayne Lay. Who, can I get a second? Anybody?
I'll second it.
More L second.
Oh, person second it. That's great.
Okay. Okay, all those in favor? Aye.
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 All those opposed? Ayes have it, the motion carries.
Excellent. Your agendas are lovely. I don't know why anyone would oppose them. They're great.
I said that's okay. So I got what I needed this first half. Also, the attendance link is in the chat if everybody would be so kind to click the link and let me know that you guys are here so our minutes can be accurate. I appreciate it so much, and I will pass the mic back to Ms. Crystal Lay.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much. I know we got started a little late, so I'm going to make this very brief. Couple of things that I want everyone to be mindful of. One, we are now in the throes of school. We're getting ready to do parent-teacher conferences, and there's been lots of questions around how do I know if my kiddo's doing well? What kind of questions should I be asking? How do I connect with everyone that I need to connect with? Who's all involved in my team? And these are all excellent questions. And my first recommendation to everyone is if you haven't already met your caseworker, hopefully you have, everyone should have met with their caseworker at this point in the year. But if you haven't met with your child's caseworker, like reach out, make sure that you have. If you don't know everyone on your IEP team, reach out to your caseworker and make sure that you have that list. If you don't know who to go to, you can always call the SSD office and they are happy to help you. Chief Moore's office is happy to help you. Chief Pendergraft's office is happy to help you. Who else is there that can help you? FACE. And we're going to get to hear from them this evening. You're going to get to hear from them every single one of our PAC meetings because they're just such a great resource for our families. And so I do want to make sure that if you haven't gotten the opportunity to learn about FACE, that you do get to hear from them both in this meeting and on the SSD website. They've got some really great things coming up that I hope that we can all be a part of. In November, we will be hearing from, I believe, FACE with the Parent Leadership Institute. I said that right. It's been a really long day, but this is a great program, and I'm hoping that you can hear from some people. If not today, then I will say you will be able to hear from people on our Facebook page. That's right. We do have a Facebook page. We converted our group to a Facebook page, so you'll be able to get information from us more readily. And I'll tell you, my daughter went through it last year. Dwayne went through it, I think, the year before. There's such great information. Dwayne, would you like to share something about the Parent Leadership Institute?
Yeah, I thought it was a great program. Working with Deb Fiasco and the content that got shared there, and the whole team. I single out Deb a lot because she and I work together a lot on it. But everyone that came in, I met a lot of the SSD staff. Learned a ton about the different groups and what they do. And from a parent's perspective, I think anytime you get the opportunity to really kind of see the inner workings of a team that really should be your partner, that you should be working with, that can help you solve a lot of problems, that can be a really fantastic resource. The chance to spend some direct time with those players and get to know them. I can't even think about how many different things I learned while I was in that room. And sometimes we had Olive Garden, which was also nice because there were breadsticks that everyone enjoyed. But it really is like everyone. I have a hard time thinking of anyone that I met through any of that work with SSD that I didn't really enjoy being around, and that weren't very vocal about, if you need help, call me. Here's my email. Here's my phone. Reach out. Like, they're all there to help. And boy, just giving a little bit of your time to get in the room with them, get to know them, can pay benefits, not just for your kid, but for your school.
Yeah, I agree with that. And, I think for us, like as the PAC, just so, everybody here and to everybody who may watch this on replay, we're always here for you. And you're always welcome to reach out. But a lot of our job is to connect you back to the resources in the SSD so that you're able to get directly with the people who are supporting your child or children, right? And so we want to make sure that we can do that. FACE is another direct way to do that. So you are always welcome to reach out to us. You're also always welcome to reach out directly to FACE. And so I think being part of that Parent Leadership Institute is just another connection to get to know the people of FACE. So I am 2 minutes over my time. I'm going to cede now to our next presenter, which I believe is the superintendent's report, Dr. Macklin.
Great. Thank you all. Appreciate it.
Dr. Macklin,
just to-
can someone share the thing so I can bring his slide up, please?
I think that's
Please
going to happen.
forgive me, Dr. Macklin.
No, thank you, Wendy.
And actually, I'm not 2 minutes over my time. I just looked at the agenda again. I'm 7 minutes early. So I'm giving you some extra time, Dr. Mack.
Perfect. Perfect. I'll pass it on. I'll pass it on to the next person after I finish. So great. Thank you. Appreciate it here. So tomorrow, which is Unity Day, right? And so we really want to celebrate the kindness, acceptance, and really the fostering of inclusion. And so we encourage individuals to wear orange tomorrow on Unity Day. Tomorrow is also Bosses Day, and I say that not because of my role, but because for those of individuals who are on the call, truly, being a boss is more than it's really about being a leader. And so the individuals on the call truly understand these pieces. And so to be a leader, you don't necessarily have to be in charge of people, but you do have to lead people. And so I appreciate my team who's on the call tonight, just as we delve into tomorrow. Board Education filing opens up December 10th. President Potroff, who has been president and just a great board member, just like Director Moeller, Subdistrict 3, which is Parkway, and then Subdistrict 4, which is Ferg Floor, Pattonville, and the Riverview Gardens, will not be seeking re-elections. And so those will be two positions that will be opening up here on December 10th. Tech preview nights, it's always a great time to be able to get out to our tech schools to be able to see the trades that are offered there. It's really a great time and never, ever disappointed with these pieces. And so that is October 23rd from 5 to 7 p.m. Really a good time at North or South Tech. And then still last thing is scholarship applications are open, and then also staff award nominations are open. And so we appreciate those pieces to everyone here. Thanks.
Dr. Macklin, actually, before we turn that over on the scholarship piece, I know that there's a fair number of students and their families who may not really know much about those scholarships. Do you mind maybe spending a minute or two just kind of explaining what those are and who maybe should look at them?
Yeah, so thank you, Wendy, for clicking on those pieces here. If you go to our website here, you're able to get just a very good look at the Bonham Lions Scholarship, John Kerry Scholarship. And again, we are really thankful to SEF. I know Tim Eby's on the call, just regarding being able to award these to graduating students who have received services. And so here's a great look here on the website on what each of these pieces delve into and what they really mean. And we're thankful and excited for the opportunities for students.
Thank you, Dr. Macklin. Okay. So I think next up is Chief Pendergrass. Do you have anything you would like to share with us this evening?
Right now, legislatively, things are getting underway. There's not really any movement. Of course, they think talking to our Jeff City person, they think that the Parent Bill of Rights will be something that they will be looking at. They will also be looking at school choice. In the next couple of months, probably by the end of November, I will have a better idea of exactly what legislative bills will be going. And then I will update you as accordingly. Next, Chief Moore, my dear.
Good evening, everyone. I am Chiquita Moore, Chief Officer of Partner Districts. It is a pleasure to be with you this evening. Tonight, I will be sharing information with you regarding understanding the partnership agreement, but also some previous conversations that we have participated and collaborated on with President Lay. And we'll start with the partnership agreement and understanding the 7 categories that are connected to the partnership agreement. Each year, we take a look at the partnership agreement. That is an annual responsibility of each partner district. And they take a look at these 7 categories that are listed here. As we look at these 7 categories, there are metrics that also go along with each of these categories. At the district level, this work is conducted to ensure that through our partnership and our relationship, that we do both focus on these 7 areas to support the needs and service delivery for our students in each of the partner districts. When we take a look at staffing, this is how we identify staff, recruit and retain staff, but also how we ensure that staff are meeting the needs of our students in each of the classroom settings and program settings that we offer throughout each of the partner districts. With teaching, learning, and accountability, this is an area where we want to ensure that we support partner districts with the delivery of instruction, support with curriculum, the materials and resources, as well as professional development needs for a district or for an individual teacher to meet the specific needs of students. And so those opportunities are led through this department. Collaboration of resources and responsibilities is one of our biggest areas within the partnership agreement. And this is where we collaborate as partners. Some of those key components of this area include the local compliance plan and the general assurance documents. These are both requirements of IDEA. To some extent, we have drilled these down to the local level as well as to the state level to ensure that we comply with practices that are expected at each of those levels, as well as to ensure that we maintain a focus of compliance from an IDEA perspective. Student services is where we provide many of our supports, such as our social work, nurses, school psychologists, all of those related service type individuals are through this department and support throughout the county. Data and technology is an area where we want to ensure that we're able to provide data necessary to support students in each of our partner districts, but also have that as a cross-directional piece. And this is an area that we're beginning to focus on as a pilot with a few school districts. When we look at technology, this is how we offer technology to our students as well as our staff. Most importantly, taking a look at those students and any individualized technology needs that may be necessary or supported through this area. There are some districts who do provide transportation, but also at the same time, we want to ensure that our transportation services supports all of our students in each of the county districts that we represent. And so we do want to ensure that we maintain a focus on those areas as well. Career and technical education. This supports both our North Tech as well as our South Tech schools and the recruitment of students to participate in programming there. Through our partnership agreement, we want to ensure that that collaboration is in place and it supports, again, the recruitment of students to participate, but also that awareness for families as well as staff and other stakeholders throughout the community. The link will take you to the partnership agreement, which will allow you to review this information in more detail at your leisure. So as you have time, please take a look at that information and let us know if there are any questions. Through our recent quarterly meeting, some of the things that we talked about were practices in SSD schools as compared to partner districts. And I just wanted to outline a few things that were some of the highlights of that conversation. When we talk about partner districts, sometimes we often think of the policies and practices and procedures that SSD might have, and we assume that they may apply across partner districts. It's important to remember that partner districts, as well as SSD schools, each district have their own unique policies that they have approved through their board. Many of those policies may look similar in each of our settings, However, there are also some policies that apply specifically to a particular district, and it's important for us to keep those pieces in mind. Students in partner districts are provided services by SSD providers, service providers. We often hear our students that we provide services for labeled as SSD students. And this is one of those areas where we know that it's going to take forever for us to ensure that individuals understand that we are providing services to students within their home school, and they should be identified as a student. This is where we support students in the least restrictive environment. The policies and practices of the partner district, they apply to the management organization and practices within that district. So when we're talking about instruction and discipline and attendance, it's important to look at your partner district's policies and practices. It's also important to know that there are some SSD practices that may apply to the partner district, and that is specific to the delivery of special education programming and services, for example. And we wanted to ensure that in those particular situations that you have this broad information, and at times we may have to go deeper, and that can be more on a case-by-case type situation when we're looking at how to support a student and or a family with specific needs. When we look at SSD schools, those services are also provided by SSD, and we have to remember that this is our more restrictive environment. SSD policies and practices in this case apply first as priority when we're looking at instruction, discipline, and attendance, for example, in an SSD building as compared to a partner district school. It is also important to understand that some partner district practices may support students that are attending SSD schools, understanding that students are first enrolled in their partner district, so that is their home district. So when we're talking about residential practices such as admissions to school and such, those practices may apply to a student who are attending an SSD school because first and primarily their home district would be in a partner district. Next slide. Are there any questions that I can entertain at this time?
So it would help if I get off mute. So Chief Moore, what I hear you saying, the overriding piece here is what I hear you saying is that SSD supports the partner district. They don't override the partner district. So whatever policies, practices, and procedures are commonplace for all students in the partner district will be the policies, practices, and procedures that the child with an IEP that is serviced by the SSD will be subject to as they go to that school. Is that okay? So I think that's an area where it's easy to get confused because it feels like our kid is being serviced by both districts, but in actuality, they're really being serviced by one district who has a partnership with the SSD to provide services from faculty at the SSD into the partner district. Is that
That would be valid. That is correct. And so our service providers, our case managers, and other related service providers in our partner districts who are supporting students with service delivery. This would be quite similar to a student. And as we talked in our conversation this past week, students in different subgroups such as ELL students or Title I students and such, just as they receive services, we are a service provider as well, supporting students within their home schools and districts.
okay? So then one of the things, and we did not get to talk about this, but one of the things that came up between our meeting and now, so it's always okay to be like, this is a great question and we'll get back to everybody later. So I'll just say that up front. But one of the questions that came up is like, so if the partner district says, hey, maybe it would be better for your child to be serviced at SSD as opposed to our school, like the question actually that was brought up was like, well, my kid's already serviced by SSD, they're just serviced at the partner district, but sometimes it makes more sense for them to be serviced with SSD directly, right? So maybe the question becomes, how do you know which district makes more sense for your child, the partner district or the SST? And who makes that determination really?
So with that question, I think it's important to remember that that's an IEP team decision, and
Mhm.
that would be considered a change of placement conversation that would need to take place within that IEP team. So making the distinction of which placement is better, that's not something that staff within a partner district can just make a decision to do. And it's not something that staff in isolation at SSD could attempt to do. That again has to go through the IEP process.
Okay, that's a very helpful answer. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I have a quick question for you. I know that there are some areas in which SSD has much more defined policies than some of the partner districts. Is there any effort or any discussion about trying to get some of those standardized? I'm thinking specifically about incident reports or bullying documentation. There's such a wide gap, I think, between the two sets. And frankly, I think SSD has a really, really good set of documentation rules and guidance. And I've seen I know in Kirkwood, like some of them, like there is no guidance on what needs to be done. There's no rules around it. And I think that for a lot of parents, there's that dissonance causes some concern. Has there been any discussion about like, hey, let's try to get everybody on the same page here so we make sure we're servicing our kids the best way possible?
I think, Mr. Lay, that would be a great opportunity, but I don't think that we are there yet in 2024. I think it's important to remember that all school districts across the state of Missouri are provided guidance from the Missouri School Board Association as to what they should consider as a part of their policies and practices.
Mhm.
Each district school board has the responsibility to make those final decisions of approval for policies and practices that are implemented within each of their districts.
Okay, so not likely to see any standardization. There's too many players involved and too many different things to consider there. Makes sense.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
This might be a kind of a specific question, but since the partner district is providing the general ed services and the SSD is providing the services in a situation in a high school where there's a class co-taught class, two teachers in one class, one from the partner district, one from the from SSD. Let's say that in the teacher shortage or sub shortage, if the general ed teacher is going to be out, and it seems like the SSD teacher is the only one left in the co-taught class, that sounds like a concern. Am I off with that? That's a concern that it would be just kind of planned for, that the SSD teacher would just be teaching all the kids in the class?
That wouldn't necessarily be the case.
Okay.
It is the partner district's responsibility to provide staff to support the delivery of instruction to students in the classroom. And it is the special education provider's responsibility to support instruction and the delivery of special education services. And both of those individuals are working together in collaboration.
So it would be reasonable for a parent to contact the school with that concern. That's
Absolutely. You
happening.
can definitely contact the school. And in that situation, you are more than welcome to contact us as well, too. That's why we have our leadership working directly in each of the partner districts side by side with leadership in each of the partner districts to support those individualized and urgent needs.
Wonderful. Thanks for fielding that question.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Ms. Eaglin?
All right, good evening, everyone. I am Adrienne Eaglin, the Director of Family and Community Engagement, and I'm going to share a few updates with you today. So just wanted to give you some information. On September 28th, we hosted a family academy at Southview School, and we had over 17 community vendors there. We had 5 facilitators on topics such as numeracy, literacy, dyslexia, social emotional learning, transition, and supported decision-making, as well as special education process. We were very fortunate to have a number of donors support us on that event. So families who attended received gift certificates and different things to Raising Cane's. There were gifts from Marcus Theater and the City Museum. So our events are being sponsored by other agencies to really support family participation. We're thankful to those donors. As Dr. Macklin already spoke about, Unity Day is tomorrow. So we're all wearing orange to show our support for inclusion, kindness, and acceptance throughout our schools and in all of our communities. We will also announce the winner of our Unity Day contest. And I am excited to say that this student was actually nominated by their parent. Their parent submitted their project. So that was a great thing. I also want to invite you guys to check out SSD's website, where we talk about bullying prevention resources, as well as pacer.org. So this is a lot of the information that we are using to support our events. Thank you for sharing that, Wendy. All right, so we also want to invite you out. We will have Family Cafe on November 6th from 6 to 8 at North Tech High School. These have been amazing cafes, really spending time with families, getting to know them, hear some of the challenges, and really developing opportunities to support them. We will also have on October the 18th, a representative from the Community Action Agency of St. Louis to support families who are in need of utility assistance. So anyone who happens to have a need there is welcome to come to North Tech High School from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. for assistance from that representative, and FACE staff will be there to support with other resources as needed. Tomorrow, we will have a lunch and learn from Missouri's treasurer. They will come out tomorrow and speak with families, or not come out, but it is a lunch and learn. It's virtual. So from 11:30 to noon, if you have a few minutes, you can jump on SSD's YouTube channel, and you'll hear from Yvonne from the treasurer's office to talk more about the Mo-Able accounts. I think it is so important for our families to really know how to protect the finances of their young people. So please encourage others to jump on to our YouTube to hear that information on tomorrow. Next slide, please. Another big thing, we have a busy week. If you haven't noticed, we have a lot going on this week. October 16th, that's tomorrow. From 6 to 7, we will have one of our ABA providers who will be sharing strategies about functional communication in the home and community. Again, it's a virtual workshop, so feel free to watch it with us tomorrow from 6 to 7. You do have to register using the Zoom link on our website, but it will also be recorded and available for review after. A special note, this is especially for our PAC families. We are going to have a in-person learning opportunity for families. This is for families who are experiencing some challenging behaviors in their home. One of our NCI, crisis intervention facilitators, will be presenting in person at SSD's Learning Center on November the 11th from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. at our Learning Center. So we are inviting you to encourage friends or family, whoever may need this opportunity, to register for this event. It's going to be limited seats, but we do encourage you to join us. Last slide, I promise. Mr. Lay and Crystal, Mrs. Lay, you guys have talked a lot about Family Leadership Institute. Next month, November, is actually Family Engagement Month. So we're going to spend that month actually facilitating Family Leadership Institute. And we are encouraging families to come out and experience what you are talking about as well. That is an amazing opportunity. I think everyone who attends, no matter how often you attend, we attend them, we learn something from each presenter more and more, and we learn from the families as well. So it is a great opportunity to develop community, increase your knowledge, network with other families, and really get to know the leadership at SSD. So those events will start on November 7th. Yes, we do provide a light dinner, but people come because they actually like us too. So please come on out and visit with us. But to really learn how to best support your student, we encourage you to join. And as always, if you need help from us, please feel free to send us an email, give us a phone call, or check out one of our videos. Thank you for the opportunity.
I love, love, love that you have information about the Moable account. It's such a great thing for your student, for your child, but it's also a great thing to do with your child. So not only is it an opportunity for you to protect your child's financial future, for those who don't know, the information, the laws that inform your assets as someone with a disability hasn't changed since 1977, I believe. And it really does keep people with disabilities in poverty as adults. And so the ABLE accounts from state to state have been created as a way to be able to address that. So you're able to put a set amount of information, a set amount of financial compensation into these accounts, and not just you. Like the ABLE accounts are cool. They've got QR codes that your child with a disability up to even in adult age can give out to people and say, hey, instead of giving me cash or a gift, like put it in my ABLE account, right? Because then it doesn't count against their SSI asset limits. So it's a really cool thing, and teaching your kids about it while they're still kids will help them their entire life. So please, if you can, try to make that. It's such great information. Thank you so much for joining us. And also thank you, Chief Moore, for coming in and talking about the connection between the partner districts. I know Dwayne and I have navigated to some degree or another a relationship with IEPs and the special school district for years, and it's still complex. So it's great to be able to share that information. Okay, so next up, I think we have any issue requiring a motion, and I don't believe we have any issues requiring a motion for this meeting, but I would like to check with our superstar secretaries because they know those things far better than I do. So Denise, Maria, is that accurate information?
So sorry, I was thinking. Yes, I don't have anything requiring a motion.
Okay.
I do not either.
Okay, well then we can breeze through that section. We are just flying, folks. This is great. So next up, Special Education Foundation, which is correct on the website. Tim, would you like to share some information with us tonight?
Love to. Could somebody allow me the opportunity to share my screen? Is that possible?
Of course. Okay, you should be good to go.
Oh, yeah. Thank you. Well, I'm really excited about sharing with you something. Yesterday was our charity golf tournament that we hold each year, the Dan McLaughlin Charity Golf Tournament and auction. And Dan has been doing this now for SEF. This was our 22nd year, and we are so grateful for him and just hundreds or dozens and dozens of volunteers. Many of them are SSD employees and who gave up their time to help us out and supported SEF. We don't have the final numbers as to how we did in the event, but one of the things that we did do at this event was to share with those in attendance about a new project that we're doing. It's a new initiative called the Mobility Project, and it came out of ideas that SSD staff brought to us. And it's about bringing powered mobility to students. The idea here is that for many students who are physically challenged, they have a real difficulty in gaining the competency in operating a powered wheelchair because they don't have access to it. And in order to actually get for families to get insurance companies to cover the cost of a powered wheelchair for their private use, the students have to prove their competency, their ability to operate it. And it's kind of hard to do that if you don't have access to one. So what happened several months ago was SSD staff came to us and said, can you help raise some money so that we can put chairs, these powered wheelchairs, into schools across St. Louis County and help these students who are physically challenged to gain those skills to do that. And so yesterday at our golf tournament, at many of these galas, many of you have probably been to these where they have a paddle raise, a fund the need. And the need that we asked our attendees was to help fund the cost of bringing some of these chairs into the SSD schools. And I am so proud to share with you that we were able to raise enough money to cover the cost of two of these power mobility chairs, which cost about $20,000. It's incredible. And I want to share with you, if I could, a video that we produced about this that tells you a little bit more about this. Can you hear the audio?
No, we cannot.
Tim, if we're not able to get the audio to play, are you able to share the link?
You weren't able to get the, okay, I'm sorry. I didn't know if you could hear the audio. My apologies.
That's okay.
Okay, well, that sounds, let me do one thing to see if I can possibly get that here for you.
Sure.
Uh,
We're well ahead of schedule, so we have time.
If not that, maybe we can just get the captions turned on so we can read it.
I'll tell you what, I'll send out the link to you, Crystal, rather than take a whole lot of time here. It's a beautiful video and it really tells the story about what we're doing with this project. And I'll send that out to the group because it is something that we're very proud of.
That would be lovely, and then we'll share that on our Facebook page as well.
We'll move on. But the good news is our goal, quite frankly, with this project is to put 5 of these powered chairs into the county and in schools. So we're looking at putting one chair in north that will be at Northview and Ackerman, another chair in the south and Southview, another chair in Mid County that will be shared between Litzinger and New Owner. We're hoping, and as we continue to raise the money for this to add more chairs, we're looking to try to put a chair in the early childhood centers that can rotate there, as well as one in a partner district. And so we're working hard. We had just an outpouring of support yesterday to help do this, and we are so thrilled. So that is just a very exciting opportunity, and for those parents who have children with the kind of physical challenges that this could be a benefit to them, please let us know, and we can help them. We can connect them with the folks at SSD to try to make this happen so that the students can gain the skills for this. But we're very, very excited about this opportunity. Other thing I wanted to just touch on for y'all is that this week we kicked off our annual Critical Needs Coat Drive. The Coat Drive is something we do each year. And what we do is we go out and raise money and then hand it off to the folks who know what the students need. There are many, many students across St. Louis County who don't have coats. And as we've seen some of the brisk temperatures happening this week, it's getting cold and it's going to get colder. And for students with special needs, many of them, if it's a child with sensory issues or a child who may be in a wheelchair, the need for a specialized coat to meet those students is something that you just can't buy a coat off the shelf and have somebody donate a coat and it's going to work for a child. So this drive is so important because it does allow the SSD staff to find the coats that work for the student. And last year we raised over $5,000. We're hoping to raise $6,000 this year to buy a lot of coats for a lot of kids. And so the link there, you can take a photo of the scan, the QR code that will take you to the page. If folks could share that out with friends and family, put it on social media, because we're in this fundraiser goes through the end of December into early January, but we're hoping to raise enough money for to really outfit a lot of kids. And this is all part of our critical needs program that we work very closely with Adrian Eaglin on, and the whole team in FACE to do these kinds of projects, as well as personal care drives and filling the critical needs of students. I know they're going to be doing food baskets for winter break as well, that our critical needs program pays for. So any support that folks can provide for that is greatly appreciated. The other piece I wanted to just mention to you as well, Dr. Macklin noted the nomination process opening up for some of the awards that SSD sponsors. Our nominations for our 2025 Starfish Awards will open on Friday as well. And for those of you who have been regular attendees, I've talked about our Starfish Awards a little bit in the past. We had our first event back in June at City Park, the soccer stadium in St. Louis, where we gave Starfish Awards to 8 educators that have connections with the special school district, 7 SSD staff, and 1 teacher who was actually a general ed teacher, an art teacher, but the parents and colleagues of this particular teacher found her work so important in helping students with disabilities. And the idea is based on the Starfish story, which is about making a difference, making a small difference or making a big difference, but it's about making a difference. And in our case, it's about making a difference in the lives of students with disabilities. And so the website there is www.starfishawards.org. And QR code will get you there as well. But we're taking nominations. We would love to have hundreds and hundreds of nominations. We had 120 nominations in our first year. We hope to do more than that. We're in the planning phase for this event that will be happening in June again of next year. But we're looking to get a head start on this. So encourage anyone to nominate an educator. And it could be a teacher, it could be a para, it could be a custodian, or somebody in the front office at a school that's making a difference in the lives of kids. We encourage folks to do that as well. And so finally, our website has all sorts of other information about all of our other programs that are available. We have we are opening up the nominations for scholarships as well, and numerous other programs as well. You can go to our website and get all of that information as well. So I encourage folks to do that. So thank you again for the time and the opportunity to talk to the group, Crystal. Appreciate it.
I'm just you talking on mute. It's awesome. I was just saying thank you so much for everything that you do for our families and for the students. So thank you for your time and joining us again this month, and we'll see you next month.
Thank you.
All right. With that, it's time to do our SSD district reports. So Denise, do you want to kick that off?
Hi, of course. Hello, everyone. I have nothing new to report currently for Ferguson, Florissant outside the state of the district will be held. I don't have the date off the top of my head, but I'll make sure I'll put that out. It will be at the STEAM Academy, where the superintendent will be presenting. So always great to have people come out to kind of voice their concerns. And then for McClure North, the proposal for the sensory room has been submitted for Title I funding. So we're just waiting to hear back for that to see if that could be approved and funds can be used in regards to that. And that's all I have.
Great, thank you so much. Okay, so you know what, Hazelwood, do you want to go next? We're so glad to have you.
So I wasn't prepared to give a formal report,
That's
and
okay.
I'm sitting
We're not
here
so
right now.
formal.
Yeah, and I try to follow the Hazelwood board meetings, and they did have a report of the special school district, their partnership agreement, several board meetings ago, and they were talking about updating or restarting the district pack. And they did mention that there would be a first meeting in October, but I have had a hard time figuring out what the date of that is. So, but the good news is that there is a conversation about restarting our district pack in Hazelwood. So I'll just leave it at that.
Crystal, you're on mute.
This is why I just leave myself off mute all the time. I said, Denise, you're on. You're on. You have the attendance. So do you want to roll with who's next? Now you're on mute. So
Okay.
I'm contagious. So.
I'll start. Okay, wait. Maureen O'Neill, Wester Groves. Is she?
Sorry, I was on mute. Yeah. So we had our first meeting on last Wednesday, October 9th. It went pretty well. We met with our SSD people. We had submitted questions that we had concerns with. It was a good open conversation, especially about the technical schools because we didn't know too much about them. And our next meeting is in January.
Going backwards, I have Rockwood. So
that would be me.
Yep.
So I don't think we have anything new to report for SSD. Right now, Rockwood did have their board meeting. Most of what they talked about in September had to do with staffing, candidly, and then nutrition contracts, community education, school supervision, student activity, and transportation purchases. So as it relates to information about the district, I think that goes out pretty much every day in the Rockwood email. If you are part of the district and you are not getting that, please contact your school and then we'll make sure that you get signed up. If you are with Utah Valley, as a reminder, tomorrow night is the Dad's Night Out event, and there is no RSVP required for that. It's at Truman's Place in Fenton from 7 to 10. And so this is a great opportunity for dads or dad figures to do something with their children of all ability levels. So I would encourage you to join.
Next we have Kirkwood. So Dwayne or Ellen?
We've been meeting. Also, two things that happened on October 1st. They had the Unified Night Lights, which is a activity put on at the high school by the football team and the Kirkwood Education Foundation. So all the kids that have IEPs and receive services get to play football, be with the band, be a cheerleader, whatever they want to do. Makes the local paper. I think they had about 60, 70 little kids sign up and they're all buddied up with other people. And they usually have a good time. It's my son's favorite night of the year. And then last week we had a meeting, and Adrian, just cover your ears because I can't remember the name of the file, but Deb Fiasco came and talked to us, and it's kind of a blueprint pamphlet of information. I'm so sorry, I can't remember the name of it.
Partners for Success. Partners for Success.
That's what it is. It's the Partners for Success. I'm so sorry, but she talked to us about it. It was really great, and we sat down and talked as a group of parents, and then broke out with our area coordinators by elementary, middle, and high school, and then kind of filled it out together and kind of give everybody a blueprint for the year. So it's kind of our kickoff pack meeting for the year is to get people started on the right foot. If you're not familiar with that packet, I would highly suggest going on the website and digging into it. It's a great tool to get yourself started. Parents that are having problems getting your own blueprint of who to call when, so to speak, as well as other thoughts just to keep yourself on track. And so I think it's something we're going to try to do every year to kick off the year. and get everybody on the same page.
Had to get off mute. Thank you. And then last but never least, Bayless Maria Martinez.
I don't have any updates at the moment.
Well, then we have rocketed through that. Did we have anyone submit for for public comments?
No public comments were submitted. I posted in the chat the link to meeting feedback, and I'll repost it again, as well as the attendance link if you have not done so already, and just everyone on the call for the attendance link. So it's not, you don't have to be a part of PAC or to fill it out. This is for us to get like a general consensus of like who's on the calls. So I know there's some SLU students in the room as well. So if you can complete those, if you're just coming to hang out and watch us for a little bit, we would love to have you fill that out for meeting or minutes purposes.
So one of the things that I think have talked about, and I feel like if I'm wrong, there are enough people from the SSD that they'll swoop in and be like, no. But there aren't really hard and fast rules that require that people who have questions or feedback would probably be useful, but people who have questions submit them before a specific time. Part of the reason that we do that, because there was the question raised, like, why do we have to do this in advance? It's part of it's to make sure we're prepared, right? So that we have answers for you when you have questions and the right people are on the calls. But if there is someone who has a question, or if you have thoughts about the things that you've seen tonight, you do not have to wait another month to be able to provide feedback. We are here, and this is an opportunity for us to talk. So if there are things you want to chat about, we've got a few minutes. That's great. If you don't, that's okay too. But I don't want you to feel like you can't talk to us while we're all sitting here on the call. It's always fun to say that, and then you just kind of sit in silence and go like,
don't be shy. It could be about anything. Like maybe it could be something either successful that's happening at your kiddo's school, or if you're having an issue and maybe don't know exactly where to go or turn to, or you feel like you might have contacted somebody and you're not going in the right direction. That's the purpose. Like we want to open it up so we can be as helpful as possible to you and know what you care about and what's important so we can better assist. So it could totally be anything. Again, you can also do the public comments if it's something that you just maybe you don't want to speak about it now, or you can reach out to us directly. But we're a village, we're all family. We're here for the same reason. So I don't want anyone to feel like they can't speak to it. So we just wanted to open the floor.
Yeah. And I think
I got something in the chat.
Okay, Sophia,
come on down, Sophia Moore. You can come off mute.
Can you all hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I had two things. One was, and I don't know if this is the right meeting for it or not, but I was always interested in finding out how I go about working with someone, because that extended school year is not beneficial for my son, because then everything he learns from there, then he's off for several months. I'm thinking that it would be better if school started earlier for the SSD students, and then they can get acclimated to being back in the routine before all of the other students come back into the building. So I don't know. And that's something, it doesn't have to be addressed or answered now, but that's something to think about, or we can look at for next month. And then I've been trying to reach out to a couple of people in regards to, because my son has Down syndrome, and there's a very good reading program that they have out in Wildwood area, somewhere out further. And I was trying to get someone to do a survey at one point just to see how many people in this area in North County would be interested in that program being out closer to here, just to survey the parents of the children. I don't need any information. The organization that provides the training doesn't need any information. Just the interest form can be sent out to those parents. So those were the two things that I was kind of interested in.
Those are great topics. I would think, Chief Pendergrass, if someone wanted to be able to send out a survey, or an organization wanted to work with the SSD to send out a survey, that might go through your group. Is that fair?
So we have a whole process if surveys go out. We have a whole department that would do that.
Okay, so would it be fair to connect Sophia to your office?
Yeah, that would be fine. And we can get more specific information and see if that type of survey can go out.
Yeah, we've been connected before because I've reached out to you a couple of years ago about that. And then, so yeah, we've talked a little bit through email, but I'll email you again.
Okay, possibly a phone conversation so I can get more specific information from you would be great.
That'll work too.
I'll put my number in the chat.
Fantastic. And then as far as like the idea of our kids going back to school earlier, totally appreciate the benefit of that. I don't know how feasible that is or isn't. But I know that we've certainly talked before about it would be great to be able to at minimum have days before the official registration pickup day, or a different day aside from the regular registration pickup day, where our SSD kids might be able to pick up their schedule and walk the school and get familiar, because they just need extra time. So I think that's a great input point, Sophia, for Chief Moore's group to have and be able to discuss with the different partner districts. But of course, it would be up to them, I would think, if that's something that's feasible or not to do. Is that a fair statement, Chief Moore?
I think that it will require a conversation at a broader level before we would even begin to have a conversation with partner districts on some of those topics. Perhaps during our next conversation and meeting, myself and you and Wendy, we can begin to elaborate on some of those pieces and talk about how we can communicate with our families and share more information.
Certainly, that makes sense. So Sophia, what I can do, I think the contact information for each of the roles of the PAC committee is on the website. So if you don't mind just grabbing my email address from there, it's really long. It's like president at something, but it's super long on the back end. If you could just grab my email from there and maybe just sketch out like what you're thinking in an email, that would allow us in our next meeting to be able to have that conversation and move that forward.
And your name is again? I'm sorry.
Oh, it's very fair. I'm Crystal Miller Light.
Crystal Miller Light. Okay. So I'll get it off the site.
Yeah, I was just saying, I'm your PAC president for this year. Y'all have to vote me in if you want me to do it another year, or vote somebody else in if you want somebody else to do it. But for this year, I'm who you got. But thank you very much for bringing this forward. I mean, look, we can't even begin to do things differently if we don't have conversations.
Yeah, I put her email in the chat. And that way, again, like she said, if just kind of a broad idea of like, so we can kind of talk about it at our next meeting and see what ideas we can come up with. And maybe even coming up on something on a smaller scale. Cause I think like one of those things off the top of my head, like I know some districts do like meet the teacher night, but knowing that SSD is kind of like I know at my kids' school, like they're essential skills. So it's like a little bit separate. So I don't know how feasible it would be to just do like maybe that section on a different night or a different time or something like that. So exploring different ideas. Now I know that definitely has to go through, works and levels, but sometimes we can get some similar outcomes on smaller scales and kind of work through that. So I think that's something we can all kind of brainstorming about. But thank you so much for bringing both of those points up.
And Denise, as usual, thank you for having all of the information at your fingertips. You are awesome.
All the screens. Great, awesome. Anyone else?
I will, excuse me, this is Maureen from Webster. I will say we've had a similar conversation with our district people about trying to do meet the teacher, like maybe the first hour prior to the rest of all the other kids coming in, especially for middle school and high school, and even elementary school. Like just trying to make arrangements to have it so it's not so as chaotic. So I have to admit, we're talking to our districts about that as well.
I mean, it makes sense. We have different times where we can go grocery shopping that's low sensory, and different times where, kids can watch movies that are low sensory. So the ask certainly made sense. It's just how to operationalize it, and if that's a doable thing. I don't know, but I think it's definitely worth conversation. So appreciate it. Anybody else have anything they want to talk about? Because that's what we're here for. Or also, Maureen, if there's anything else you want to talk about, I don't want to shortchange you. Okay, well, with that, I think we can give people back some time this evening, which is also kind of cool. So next month,
Crystal, sorry, this is Ellen. Just since we have people from SSD here, a couple things that came up in our meeting last week, and I think it's something that I know SSD works hard on this, but it still happens in the districts. The consistency of parents who, oh my gosh, I got the most welcoming letter from my case manager telling me welcome to the school year, and people who 2 weeks in don't have anything, or it's just, and I know you guys say at a district level, you tell people you should do these things, it's still not trickling down all the way. And I don't know if it's head office has to talk to the area managers and people have to be like, I mean, listen, I know I'm a manager. Nobody wants to micromanage people, but at some point in time, I mean, people need to know. And area managers are going to have to micromanage. Like, show me your letter. What'd you send out to parents? It's required. We're telling people we're doing this and we're not. And it's really hard for parents who you can have people in the same building and they're having very different experiences. And we're trying to give everybody, I shouldn't say we, I know you guys are trying to give that same experience to everybody. So I just think it's continues to happen, even though I know you guys have worked very hard at the PAC meetings and shared what you guys have been working on the last couple of years. It is not great. So.
Thank you, Ms. Reed. It's noted, and we will continue to work on that.
Yeah, I know you're working hard, and I've seen improvement. I mean, so I know you, and I know you guys are working. I just wanted to share that up through the food chain.
Yeah, I know that's not like limited to any one district, and it's one of those things where I think everyone's trying and has probably their best intent. Things happen, but I do like, I think that's really great to bring up. And Andrew, I agree, the template may help, something that could be standardized.
And I think it's actually one of the things that it's in Adrian's success packet is like your one pager for a parent to give their case manager. It's the talking points of introduction.
Fantastic. You said there were a couple of things. Was there something else?
I think just the usual. I think people still feel like just the communication. The beginning of the year is still rough. As the one person mentioned, just getting notifications so much different is contract dates are different between districts and SSD. So districts send out information sooner than SSD at times. So it just communication is different, but also just some people, at least in our district, had some rough second halves to last year with changing in staff and communication. I think the transparency with those parents. Again, I know people's hands are tied, and I think parents are emotional. Parents are mama bear, papa bears, whatever you want to call everybody. They're super protective of their kids. And you guys have HIPAA and HR policies, what you can and can't say, and you're trying to give people information without saying what you can't say. But I just think a lot of people still have heartburn from how their years ended. And that was just a couple of the conversations that came up. But I think you guys do your best, but I just think sometimes an additional layer, sometimes coming out, acknowledging of what's going on, and we're working on it. Because that prevents the rumor mill from flying. Those are it.
Yeah. No, I mean those are fair feedback points, right? I know early in the process for me, still early in the process, it's still early in the year, but shortly after I said, hey, I'll do this president thing for 2024, 2025. Yeah, let's do this. I don't remember if it was Wendy or sorry, Chief Pendergrass or Chief Moore or someone I was talking to, might have been Dr. Macklin, but somebody was like, hey, we understand there's work that we need to do to improve relationship with various family members or families in the district, and we're working on it, right? We're doing what we can do. Everybody is stressed, like in our like global and broader society, everybody is stressed. Teachers are stressed, parents are stressed, you know, like everyone's stressed. And so there's certainly the need to be able to hold each other accountable for the things that we need to do, right? Like that's part of why PAC is here, is to help with accountability. There's also the need to recognize when things go well. And so I think in no way am I saying like, hey, let's ignore the things that need to be fixed. Certainly, let's deal with the things that need to be fixed. But I do think there's something to the compliment sandwich with some of our staff members, right? So maybe there's something like sharing something that you need help with and then sharing something they're doing well and then seeing if like maybe that helps move things along. So that being said, we have the ability to continue to have conversation. We also have the ability to Zoom off at this point if you want to. We're here for you. So
Crystal, I do want to say, this is Dr. Macklin here. I do want to say I thank everyone here for your effort tonight. I truly understand that we're all here collaboratively to work together to ensure that at the end of the day, students and more importantly, your students are successful in getting what they need as it relates to the quality of service delivery. And so we understand Chief Moore presented tonight about the partnership and everything and all spaces and places are not what they need to be. I thank you, Ms. Reed, for your comments, but we are working collectively to ensure that we work together to try to solve issues and concerns. And so that's always the first step, being transparent and being honest about what the challenges are and then moving forward. So I do thank everyone for their efforts tonight, and I'll see you guys next time. You're muted.
I hate mute. Okay, I think we need to make a motion to close the meeting.
That is correct. I move that we adjourn this meeting at 8:21 p.m. Can I get a second?
I will second that, Denise.
Got a second. And all those in favor say aye.
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 Thank you. All those opposed? Nay. Okay, awesome. Approved unanimously. Thank you guys so much for attending tonight's meeting. Meeting's adjourned. Everyone have a great night. Safe Halloween. Happy Unity Day tomorrow. If I don't talk to you before then.
Yeah, don't forget to wear orange.
That's right. Thanks,